kabataan, atong kaugmaon. Ginikanan, atong kaabag. Komunidad, atong kausa. Gidalit kaninyo sa Department of Education, Region 10 sa Amihanang Mindanao. Ug niining estasyon, ang programa nga maoy tumong og tinguha ang pagpadayon sa edukasyon taliwala sa bisan unsang katalagman. Sa ingon niini, padayon nga makakaton ang kabataan ug makabot damlag ang ilang mga panganib. Kini ang DepEd RX Adobe. Mga higala, ani ana ang inyong magtutudlo.
Good day, credit learners. We are here in the fan world of School on the Air, where you learn as you listen on air. It's time for you to understand computer system servicing better. Brace yourselves as we know more on testing electronic components. I am Sir Junpel Acut, your radio teacher for this episode, all the way from Matangad National High School, District of Gitagum, Division of Misamis Oriental. Today is a wonderful day to learn something new, right? Well, I know you're all excited. Sit comfortably, adjust the volume of your radio as we're about to give you knowledge. Make sure that the volume of your radio is loud enough so you won't miss a thing. Okay? Are you ready? Alright. Again, this is TLE Computer System Servicing class. I know you know already what this subject is all about. However, let us check what you already know. How? I want you to get your TLE 8 module and answer the pretest. All you need to do is write true if the statement is correct, and false if you think the answer is wrong. Write your answers on your TLE CSS activity notebook. You have 2 minutes to answer. After the music that will be played, we will check your answer. Ready? Start! Now it's time to check your answer. I need you to be honest because we want to find out what you have known already. Don't worry, this is not graded. This will help you learn better, okay? Let us check. For number 1 statement, Job orders or client requirements give the complete description of the testing job. The answer is true. Number 2. The supervisors in the manufacturing industry are considered the responsible persons. The answer is true. Number 3. Data sheets and forms from manufacturers cannot help you in knowing the specification of one electronic component to be tested. The answer is false. Number 4. The testing criteria will ensure that components meet technical and quality requirements. The correct answer is true. Number 5. Letting the relevant personnel know the testing criteria is important. The answer is true. Number 6. An electronic component can be tested by only one method. The answer is false. Number 7. Producing an electronic component does not require testing from the time it is being made until the final product is finished. The answer is false. Number 8. Every testing method has a corresponding tool to be used. The correct answer is true. Number 9. A test plan is important. The answer is true. Number 10. Preparing and checking tools before using them has no standard procedure to follow. The correct answer is false. Number 11. Recording or documenting the test result does not include faults and problems of the component. The answer is false. Number 12. Testing the product is done to detect the faults and problems of a component. The correct answer is true. Number 13. The documentation of the test process should not be reported to the relevant personnel. The answer is false. For number 14. The documentation of test process will help in identifying successful methods and efficient tools. The answer is true. And for the last number of our pretest, number 15. If you are performing a test procedure more than once, the other tests do not need to be recorded or documented. The correct answer is false. We are done checking the pretest. I want you to count the number with correct answers and write your score in the topmost right part of your paper. Are you done counting? If your score is 11 to 15, that is very good. You may still read the module, but you are already knowledgeable with the topics that we are going to discuss. If you get 6 to 10 points, that is good. Go over the items that you find difficult, and then you may proceed to the lessons in this module that you don't understand. However, if your score is 0 to 5, don't worry about your score. This module is designed for you to understand all about testing electronic components, the tools, the methods, and the procedures needed to perform very complex tasks. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey. To be certain that everyone is ready for another academic endeavor, may I request you to raise your hands on the air, then wave them 5 times. Alright, let's do it. Raise your hands, wave 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go, you're cool and pro. Our module is packed with the basic lessons on testing electronic components in a way which addresses your learning needs, aligned with the safety precautions set by OHS or Occupational Health and Safety, and 5S standards, namely sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. This module utilizes your knowledge from the previous lessons about using and maintaining hand tools. some applicable methods in performing mensuration and calculations, and few skills in terminating and connecting electrical wiring and electronic circuit. So before going over to the basics of testing electronic components or TLE, let's start first with an exercise that may help you determine your prior learnings and help you open the door to what's new about this module. Our activity 1 is determining tools versus components. You are going to identify the pictures from your module if it is an electronic component or a testing tool. Write EC if it is an electronic component and TT if it is a testing tool. Write your answers in your TLE CSS activity notebook. We are going to answer this all together. I am giving you 5 seconds to every number to think and to write your answer in your answer sheet. And after that, we are going to reveal the correct answer. And same process will do to the next number. Are you ready? So let's start. Number 1, multimeter. The correct answer is TT. A multimeter is a testing tool. Number 2, computer motherboard. The correct answer is EC. Computer motherboard is an electronic tool. Number 3, power and reset switches. The correct answer is EC. Power and reset switches are electronic tools. Number 4, power supply tester. The correct answer is TT. Power supply tester is a testing tool. Number 5, CMOS battery. The correct answer is EC. CMOS battery is an electronic tool. Number 6, power supply. The correct answer is EC. Power supply is an electronic tool. Number 7, diagnostic card. The correct answer is TT. Diagnostic card is a testing tool. Number 8, cable tester. The correct answer is TT. Cable tester is a testing tool. Number 9, processor. The correct answer is EC. Processor is an electronic tool. Number 10, memory or RAM. The correct answer is EC. Memory or RAM is an electronic tool. Number 11, graphics card. The correct answer is EC. Graphics card is an electronic tool. Last number 12, graphics analyzer. The correct answer is TT. Graphics analyzer is a testing tool. Now let's count your correct answers. Who got 12? 10, 6, 4, 1. Bravo! You did it well! That marks an energized beginning for today's lesson. All you just need to review every detail. How about those who got 12? Congratulations! Keep up the good work. So we are done with activity number 1 In determining tools versus components, we are able to recall our prior knowledge towards this topic. Notably, this module also includes some of the tools and standard procedures you have learned from the previous lessons, which will be used in various testing methods on electronic components. It also introduces digital testing tools and advanced methods that can do testing job efficiently and effectively to meet the specification and technical requirements of one electronic components to satisfy the job orders from the clients. Based on the older practices and references in using tools, voltmeters and multimeters were used to test power output on computer power supplies. Testing was done terminal to terminal and point to point of the circuit or component. But now, advanced tools are being used to make the work easier and faster. For example, you can test multiple pins of a power supply simultaneously to get multiple results right away. Please refer to the photos from your module. We have there testing on an ATX pin individually, individual reading, simultaneous testing, and multiple reading. A few years back, technicians were using the beep analyzing method in determining computer motherboards faults and problems. Motherboard problems and fault has a corresponding beep code. Beep codes vary from manufacturer of motherboards and version of BIOS. Refer to the table from your module for AMI BIOS. As the technology advances, PC analyzers or diagnostic cards and other digital tools are being used to diagnose faults and problems on electronic components because manufacturers and industries found out that some methods will fail in some cases. For instance, the beep analyzing method, as mentioned, will fail when the onboard speaker or buzzer of a motherboard is dead because the test personnel cannot hear a beeping sound anymore. So instead of counting the beeps, PC analyzers display digits or codes to signify faults and problems. And these codes are being referred to as an error code table or list provided and specified by the manufacturer of the testing tool. See photos and table from your module. As you can see the reading in figure 5, it displays a code. The user manual of the diagnostic card has a list of codes as shown in table 2 with a corresponding error that is different for every version of interface software or BIOS version. These diagnostic tools come in various types. They are evolving from the PCI type in figure 5 to the newer USB type in figure 6. These types are developed to satisfy the needs of the users depending on the situation. For example, a newer model of computers does not support PCI device anymore, or older computers do not have a USB port. Some manufacturers even develop the combination type for more testing flexibility, such as testing tool in figure 7 of your module, the combination type diagnostic card. And that's it. We have comprehensively reviewed our prior learnings from our previous lessons, which are all very important for today's lesson. There are two objectives that we need to achieve from today's episode. First, we are expected to determine the criteria for testing electronic components. And second, we are also expected to plan an approach for components testing. Get your notebook and pen because we will now start our lesson. So we will discuss on our first objective to determine the criteria for testing electronic components. So when we say testing, we directly mean TAC or testing electronic components. This refers to the methods and procedures of determining the signals and responses from an electronic component. This is done to ensure the quality, performance, and serviceability of the components. All testing process must follow criteria, These criteria are needed before making the plan. The first criterion for testing electronic components is obtaining the job order. Do you know what is a job order? A job order is a form containing specifications of a task to do. This usually includes instructions, date, and time to execute order, address or location of the work site, the name of the client and his contacts, and the name of the technician. Either you are a test personnel in an industry or a technician in a shop, testing always uses the job order or the client's requirements as the guide. See sample of a job order form from the module. And if you are working in a manufacturing industry of electronic components, the responsible personnel or the supervisor is your technical department, gives you the work instructions in a form of job orders to specify the task to do. On the other hand, testing on repair shops sometimes refers to job orders given by the clients or customers. It is the clients who give the job, but most of the time, technicians already know what to do if the shop is already following standardized procedures. The second criterion is communicating or reporting the desired method to use. The desired method that you are going to use must be reported or communicated to the responsible person or the supervisors for verification and approval to ensure an efficient workflow and the success of the test. Therefore, if you will be planning to do something, report it first to the responsible personnel. That's the second criterion, communicating or reporting the desired method to use. The third criterion for testing is using the appropriate method. Accordingly, when a method and tools are all approved for testing, it is considered the most appropriate method and tools to use. The selection of the methods and tools is usually based on the component's specification and manufacturer's instructions. This is a standard practice among industries which aims to produce quality services, efficient workflow, effective tools, and safe working environments. So again, the third criteria is using the appropriate method. The last criterion for testing is recording the test process. The testing does not only require complying with the job order, consulting to the responsible personnel, selecting the efficient method, or preparing effective tools. It also requires recording the test process for evaluation purposes. The technician must be able to determine at which point must he record and document the test process for an accurate data gathering. So those are the 4 criteria for testing electronic components. We have first, obtaining the job order. Second, communicating or reporting the desired method to use. Third, using the appropriate method. And fourth, recording the test process. So for your activity at the same time performance task, I want you to do activity number 2, the job order. You are going to create a sample job order on a separate bond paper with A4 size. This will be compiled with your portfolio. Don't forget to read the rubric for job order for your reference and submit this activity by next week. Are there questions? If there's none, so we are going to proceed to the next objective of today's episode. We are done with our first objective on determining the criteria for testing electronic components, in which we have learned that there are 4 criteria to consider in testing. At this point, we are going to proceed to our second and the last objective for today's lesson. So our second objective is that you are expected to plan an approach for components testing. How important is planning for testing components? Do you have any idea why there's a need to plan first before testing? Planning, accordingly, is a must before any action. Without a plan, a test process will fail or will not meet the job order or client requirements. Would you agree? Yes, planning is very important before testing the component. And take note there are two questions to consider in planning for testing. What are those? First, what tools to use? Always choose the right tools that will give you accurate results in lesser time. Thus, safety comes first. Always remember to check the selected tools for functionality and serviceability conditions. You also need personal protective equipment. Always be mindful of the things that bring hazards to your health. That's the first question. And the second question, when to start testing? After obtaining the job order or client requirements, you need to determine the methods to use, the tools needed, and the amount of time to finish the job. If everything is ready and set, then it is time to start the job. See example of a test plan in your module. So those are two questions that you need to consider in planning for testing. We have what tools to use, and second, when to start testing. That's it. Do you have questions or clarifications for the second objective of today's session? If there's none, I am going to give you another performance task to be submitted by next week, and that is activity number 3, the test plan. You are going to assume that the job order was given by your supervisor. Make a test plan based on the job order. Write your answers on a separate bond paper with A4 size. Again, this will be compiled with your portfolio. Do it manually with a pen and a ruler. Are there questions? So, there are 2 performance tasks that you are going to perform and submit by next week. First is activity number 2, the job order, and second, activity number 3, the test plan. Well, we're now done on our discussions and the 2 objectives that we have for today's episode. I hope that you've learned a lot, especially in the 2 objectives that you've discussed today. One is determining the criteria for testing electronic components. 2, planning an approach for component testing. And for our next episode, get ready for our quiz before the start of our new lesson. Alright! My congratulations for a job well done today. This has been our episode for our TLE Computer System Servicing class. I will see you again in our next episode. This has been your radio teacher, Sir Junpel Acut of A School on the Air, leaving you the words, all is well when you study well. Stay tuned.
Ug dinhi natapos ang atong programa. Kini ang DepEd RX Adobe. Gidalit kaninyo sa Department of Education, Rehiyon 10 sa Ambihanang Mindanao. Kining tanan atong gihimo para sa kabataan. Hangtod sa sunod natong panag-uban. Daghang salamat.